Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear us. We apologize for this small delay. I guess we are online. Thank you very much for joining us and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Jana and I'm a member of the sales team here at FieldBee. I will be hosting today's webinar and we are very thank you for joining us. If you have questions, please write them in the chat and we will answer as many of them as we can at the end of the webinar and reply to all of them by email afterwards. Today, we will speak about how to calculate the return on your investment in tractor guidance products, while focusing on the main FieldBee product families. Some of the points we will cover. What criteria are the most important when calculating the return on investments on tractor guidance systems? How we put them to use in the FieldBee payback calculator, and which FieldBee product should you consider in your situation? For those of you who don't know us well yet, just a few words about FieldBee. We are a precision agriculture company specializing in tractor guidance systems. Headquartered in the Netherlands and active since 2014, we have been selling our products in over 60 countries. Our mission is to bring the benefits of precision and automation to every farmer on this planet, making agriculture more productive and more sustainable. We focus on creating quality products serving small and mid-sized farmers. FieldBee is our brand of quality, affordable guidance solutions with open architecture, which makes the product modular, updatable, and flexible. And now I would like to introduce today's speakers, Omer and Metin. Omer is FieldBee Chief Commercial Officer. Omer is a tech manager and leader with over 15 years in leading over 15 years experience in leading companies, small and large. One of his personal passions is to create a positive ecological impact in this world, which is what brought him to FieldBee. And our second speaker is Metin. Being an agricultural machinery expert with 12 years of diverse experience, Metin is responsible for business development at FieldBee. He also comes from a farming family who own and operate a 100 hectares arable farm. He graduated in agriculture engineering and has a master's degree on precision agriculture technologies. Besides being passionate about agriculture and precision farming, Metin is also an aerial photographer, providing us with some great footage of tractors in action. And now it's over to you guys.
Thank you, Jana, and hello, everyone. So today's topic is a tractor guidance system actually worth it for you? And it's kind of a large elephant, and we're going to try to slice it into many different parts and deal with them one at a time. When we're thinking about such a thing, is it worth it to you? Then you have economical reasons, and you have more softer reasons like time and efficiency. And today we're going to focus on the economical reasons, and eventually we're going to show you tools that you can use yourself in order to evaluate in your own specific farm, how much is it really worth it for you to have such a guidance system? But first, we want to touch very briefly on how to think about this question, because let's just start on the complexity side of things. When you introduce another system into your farm operation, it is increasing complexity. And is it really worth it? You need to offset it by the positive things. So we're going to touch on those things that you need to think about when you're considering a guidance system for your tractor and for your farm. The first one of those is saving costs. And I think as farmers, you probably know you have farms next to you that are using guidance systems. And this is something that is clear to most farmers. I'm going to mention it very briefly. When you use a guidance system, two things happen basically immediately. Any human error that causes skips and planting errors is eliminated immediately. And the second thing, when you use in manual driving, when you have overlaps, those overlaps are eliminated as well when you go over to guidance systems. And this can save you quite a lot in fuel. It can save you quite a lot in chemicals and other inputs. Metin, do you have anything to add on this?
Thank you, Ömer. Hello, everyone. Of course, high input cost and the greater crop experience, it makes the auto steer system, the navigation system is the promising technology in order to optimize your farming inputs and the crop efficiency. And of course, saving costs might be differ depending on the country and the crop type, cultivation, culture, tradition, and the implement width, and many of things that it can affect the cost saving. But I would like to add three things. And the one is that like the seeds, fertilizer, and the chemicals, and which is by eliminating the overlaps and the skips. And we would say from 2% up to 7%, we have a cost saving from the only three things. And beside, and the fuel consumption is getting essential nowadays, and especially because of the global oil prices and the assistant headland turns and to quicker turns and the time saving. And when we look at overall and the energy savings up to 17%, almost 20%, we are saving from the energy. And of course, energy saving, time saving means brings and reducing the labor cost. And from the other thing, it's increasing the lifetime of the equipment, tractors, and implements. So, which is priceless this time, of course, but which brings a saving for us.
Yeah, maybe it's important to note that we are listing all kinds of things that go into it. Not every one of those things we calculate immediately when you say, or when our online tool that we will talk about soon says you can save so and so, or your return on investment will be so and so. There we take only the most prominent and the clearest things where you can save costs. So let's go to the next point to consider. And this is kind of the flip side almost of the saving cost, which is you can increase your yields. So if we talked about eliminating skips, when you eliminate skips, you actually plant throughout your entire field. And research shows that this can increase your yield by 2 to 3% just by that. So 2 to 3%, that's absolutely going down to your bottom line. The second thing that we said is reducing or actually eliminating the overlaps that you used to have while manual driving. And reducing the overlap gives every seed, every seedling, every plant the optimal growing condition, the optimal space, the optimal treatment with fertilizer, etc., and lack of competition, increasing your yield further. Is there anything else there?
Actually, there are things more that the soil compaction. Soil compaction is one of the cause of the field traffic, and as all the farmer knows that the soil compaction is increasing the decreasing the soil aeration and increase the denitrification, and all this risk is causing by some root disease and some other things. And like when we look at all these risks, and it's definitely adding to the stress to the crop, and it is ultimately leading to the yield loss. And yeah, one thing that I would say, I agree with you all the things, and here is important is the regulating the life space of the crops, and depending on the crops biomorphological and biological requirements, it's very important to regulate the life space of the crops.
Okay, let's go to the third thing to think about, and this is one of the things that makes me especially excited, and that is the ability to work effectively with in-row operations. So I'm sure that most of you farmers know that doing in-row operations and driving for long hours very accurately is really hard. Doing so without damaging your crop, even with one time that you looked sideways and something happened with the implement and you needed to take a quick look, that is even harder. And still, many farmers do this. And that becomes much easier when you go into guidance system, and especially into the higher accuracy in guidance systems, which is RTK guidance system assisted by automatic steering, right?
True. I agree with you. And actually, one thing I would like to not add but recommend. So it is the guidance system very important, especially for the in-row operations. And best use to start is from the cultivation, but at least should be started from the planting or seeding operation in order to follow the next operation with the same parallel straight lines.
Then you already have your AB lines.
So
right.
You will not go out from your exact line and to not damage the crop which you already cultivated, fertilized, and grow, and maybe irrigate.
Right, so we forgot to activate the video, so I'm doing it a little bit late.
Yeah.
And this, I believe, is in your farm.
Yeah, it is from my farm, and I've been using the auto steer system since 3 years, and it's quite effective. And even from the in-row operations, of course, there are several things. Some of farmers 2 times, up to 4 times, 5 times, and do the in-row cultivations for the row crops. And even the physical losses, damages, it's 3 up to 5%. So when it's each time you enter into field, you have a huge risk of losing directly your yield.
Yeah, one of the things that makes me super excited about this ability that guidance systems give is that in-row operations are extremely important when you're trying to build soil, or when you're trying to go into sort of farming operation or farming practices that are more organic or soil building. And then it becomes super crucial because you cannot use chemicals as much anymore. And this is me coming from an environmental perspective is making me super excited and happy about this. So let's go to the next, which is the ability to work basically in any visibility conditions and over long hours. So it's high season, yeah, and you need to prepare soil very, very quickly because the rains are coming. And then you need to plant all your hectares in a very short period of time, or you need to fertilize before a certain period of time, and you need to do it all extremely quickly because weather is fickle and it just has to happen. When you don't have a guidance system, then this is hard, and sometimes not even possible. If you have thick fog, your lights will not even help you there, right? I mean, can you think of a situation in your farm when this was the case?
It is very common between farmers, actually. Maybe not only me, but probably all the farmers smiling now and then. Hey, tomorrow rain is coming, so we need to complete the fertilizing, or hey, some other things, or rain that we need to finish planting, or some other operation needs to be done just in time. Otherwise, if after rain, you may need to wait another 10 days, 15 days, and this accumulate for your harvest, maybe postpone your harvest a month. It is very important. And
it can reduce your harvest by considerable percentage, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It is quite important.
Okay, so the ability to work long hours, the ability to work in the dark, the ability to work in fog and accurately, so that's another point. And maybe it's also important to note that this is one of the elements, for example, that could be economically extremely important, but it does not go into our models because it's very hard to quantify on a repetitive basis. Some years it would be crucial, and other years it would be hardly felt. So let's go into another element which is not at all quantifiable economically, which is freeing up time. I mean, you are working. This is your passion. At least we hope that you are doing your passion. But it doesn't mean that this is the only thing that you want to do 14 hours a day during high season. You want to be with your friends, you want to be with your family, and you want to have enough energy to actually enjoy life at the end of a hard day's work. And the time saving, up to 20% that we were talking about, means that you can get so much more done within a shorter period of time, and you have more energy because you didn't have to concentrate so hard on being accurate at the end of the day. So that is definitely something to consider, and another thing that does not go into the model. So let's wrap up this discussion on the 5 things to consider when thinking about, is it worth it for me to get into a guidance system and to make this jump? What we want to focus on is the more economical and quantifiable reasons why you might want to consider this. And for that, we actually made an online tool that we will show you in a couple of minutes. The reason for this is that we talked to so many farmers and they were hesitating. They knew the cost because we told them, okay, this system is going to cost you this much. This system is going to cost you this much. But what they didn't know is what is going to be the economical benefit to them. And they hesitated because farmers, you know this much better than we do, is not a very lucrative profession, and money is often tight. So this needs to make economic sense. If it doesn't make economic sense, then it will not be there. Now, we at FieldBee, we have put it as our mission to make such technologies accessible to every farmer on the face of this earth. It will not happen overnight, but from the developed world, we are going into smaller farmers in the developed world. And then we will move on into the developing world, because this is a mission to make farmers' lives more easy, happy, profitable, and to make farming more sustainable. So with that in mind, we want to convince farmers that it does make economic sense for them to make the jump and to start working in that way. And this is the reason why we made this online calculator that, again, would take you approximately 10 minutes, as you will see in a couple of minutes. And it would give you a relatively accurate result with how long will it take you to pay back the investment in such a system. So when we made this calculator, again, the goal that we had is to take the most important criteria and to make it as easy as possible to go through it with, of course, the most important criteria translating into the payback period and the return on investment that you will get. So we are asking, what are the characteristics of your farm? What is the topography? Where is your farm? And that has all kinds of implications. I'm sure, Metin, you will tell us about it in a minute. How do you work? What kind of width do you have on this implement, on that implement, which impacts the efficiency and the number of passes that you can actually save while you work? What do you grow? Not every crop is the same when it comes to saving. If you have 8 tons of produce, of yield in a certain crop, and you have 15 in another, that's already a different kind of economy. If you have certain operations in one crop and you have completely different operations in another, that's another economy again. So this is why we ask these questions. And I think without further ado, let's jump into the calculator that we're happy to show you. So this is the product calculator. let's just define what kind of farm are we talking about here?
Just a reminder that our colleague will share the link of calculator in the chat. So here, what we do, we are asking for your farm, where is in which country. So the reason we determine the price and the input cost and the grain prices. So every continental, every country has a different pricing. So we take into consideration and we are trying to calculate as precise as we can.
Yeah, so just as a side note, you don't have to remember why we're asking everything. You have explanations over here when you do it yourself, if you're curious, like I am, for example. So let's take a farm in the UK. We're going to take a relatively small farm just to see, for a 15-hectare farmer in the UK with what people usually grow in the UK, does this make sense? With other countries, it even makes more sense when you go into row crops, which is not as popular in the UK. The yield prices and everything is becoming more pronounced, and therefore the calculation is more, pointing towards guidance systems.
Yeah, also here we ask for the farm topography is impacting the accurate of the system. So because with the flat field conditions, so there are no issue, no any slip, no anything. But when we look at to hilly field or the sloping land, so the system is tolerating within minus plus 15 degrees. But when we go over hilly or less sloping, of course, the accuracy, because of the dynamics of the implements, little bit slightly changing. So that's the reason we ask for topography.
Okay. Now we have a couple of questions here regarding the implement width, and do you do fertilizing and do you do spraying?
So one brief explanation. We would like to keep as simple as it is, the calculation. We didn't want to ask many 20 or 25 parameters, but the fertilizing and the spraying operation is a wide working with implements. So it is impacting the calculation, and for this reason we ask the working with, especially for these two operations.
Okay, so the next one is in-row cultivation. I think we touched on this. Yeah. When you have in-row cultivation, then you save a lot of damage, and you can save a lot of inputs as well. So we will choose yes. Our farmer in the UK practices in-row cultivation. And now we go into the specific crops.
So here actually there are different crop types. So each crop has a own pricing, the own input cost, own common way to which operations and how many times, and we did as common, and every crop has their own calculation. So then so the results might be differently according to the crop.
Yeah, so it's both for the input costs and the cultivations, and then eventually the yield.
The yield,
the crops. Right. Okay, so our farmer has a 10-hectare maize, and let's say average, they have 13 tons. Oh, sorry, no, I made a mistake here. I think we have to go again. My bad. My apologies. Live demo for you, ladies and gentlemen. So we go flats, fertilizing this much, spraying this much, yes, maize. And I want to add another crop, which is what I wanted to do before. And UK, they do wheat. Wheat is popular. Okay, we'll do wheat. 5 hectares of wheat with 8 tons around 8 tons. And we're done. Just gonna enter my name. All right. So basically now we're going to get the results. But before we get the results are going to be very much dependent on which product are we interested in. And I think this is a good time to discuss this a little bit and introduce them. So we have 4 main product families. And if we start here at the top left, this is the entry level. So many dairy farmers actually choose for this product, or people that are making their first steps into guidance systems and they don't want to take a very large financial commitment, or a larger financial commitment in any case. They take a manual guidance. This is composed of a receiver, which is RTK ready, meaning that if you have an RTK signal in your area, whether you can subscribe to it paid, or in many countries it is actually free, then you can get a ±1 centimeter accuracy right out of the box with this receiver. You can use your own Android phone, you can use your own Android tablet with the FieldBee app, and you're basically ready to go. The FieldBee app gives record keeping guidance on the field with all kinds of patterns of navigation, straight, curve, headline, multiple headline, etc. We won't go deep into it. This is a different webinar. Check on the channel, please. Then we have a second family. This is actually our new product, our Power Steer, which is a receiver. But again, this is a receiver with a controller. It has all the accelerometer and tilt compensation sensors and everything, all the microelectronics that is there, not only to sense where it is, but also to control the movement of the vehicle. And we have an actuator that replaces the existing steering wheel of the tractor. Again, you can use your own phone or tablet, or in this case, we also provide with our own tablet, which is guaranteed to work seamlessly with everything without interruptions by Android sudden updates or something else. And then let's go on to the next one. And this is actually kind of related. These are two products. One is mechanical auto steer and another is hydraulic auto steer. They share the same ECU, so electronic controlling unit, which senses where the tilt, etc., and calculates where the tractor needs to go. And then there are 2 actuators. One is a clamp on the steering column, while the other is a hydraulic valve that basically connects into the hydraulic system and the hydraulic steering of the tractor. Of course, the hydraulic takes a lot more efforts, and it is a little bit more costly as well to buy, but it gives the most accurate results on the field. It also goes with a wheel angle sensor, so you get the most precise results there, with the most comfortable and quiet experience in the cabin, as the steering wheel remains completely calm and you don't even feel that there is auto guidance in action. And the mechanical auto steer, you probably have heard about it or seen it in videos. It is controlling the movements of the steering wheel. So just before we go into the results of the calculator, a few words about what to consider for your purposes. As I said, entry level, if you're hesitating, if you want to take your first steps, you can always go for the manual guidance. However, if you are considering, or if you're practicing in-row cultivation, you absolutely need to take one of the auto steer solutions, as well as if you want to work very accurately with long hours, I would definitely recommend going for one of the auto steer solutions. By the way, all of our auto steer solutions, except for the hydraulic, are removable between different vehicles, so you can serve more than one vehicle with each one. And with that, let's go back to the results of the calculator. Right here on the left, you can see everything that we've entered, the information about our farm and the crop information. And here we have the various product families. So this is the manual guidance. It's a bit too small. I'm not sure if you actually can see this. This is the manual guidance. This is the power steer, mechanical auto steer, and here at the bottom, hydraulic auto steer. What we have here in the first column is how many seasons does it take to pay back the investment? And I think this is the bottom line for today's webinar. This is the magic number that you want to see. If you have one growing season per year, then you see 1.1 here. That means that it takes you one season to pay back the investment for this product, the power steer. It would take you about half a season, little over half a season, to pay back for a manual guidance, and up to 2.5 seasons to pay back a hydraulic system. Again, for this 15-hectare UK farmer. In your situation, if you are also a 15-hectare farmer, but you happen to be in Finland, Norway, or Greece, that might be something completely different. So please go into the calculator and check out for your own conditions and your own farm. Here you have seasonal cost saving. I think this is pretty much straightforward, taking into account the reduction of the overlaps, the reduction of time, labor, diesel, inputs, all of those things. This is what you can expect to save. And then this is the return on investment after 3 seasons. So for each one of those products, this is how much it is actually worth it to you if you take 3 seasons into account. So again, just explaining the calculation here, we have on the plus side the savings of the costs. We have also on the plus side the increase in yield, which we can quantify and we are certain about based on research. And then on the minus side, we have the cost of the system. And this is pretty much it. I think you would agree that this is a rather simple tool to use, and it gives you, again, quite accurate results, and it gives you, more than anything else, a feel and a confidence to make that step into guidance systems. And of course, I want to make it super clear. This is not a sales pitch for FieldBee. Of course, we would be super happy if you choose us, but this would be not extremely far from the case if you choose another product from another company that is, of course, reliable, etc., and is not very differently priced from our products. From our perspective, we want farmers to get access to these tools, to these technologies, improve their lives, and work better, more productively, and more sustainably. And only second is, yes, choose us because we are a good choice. So let's.
Thank you for this informative presentation, guys. We hope it will help the viewers in making an informed decision. I just want to repeat it again. Please feel free to ask any questions. You can write it in the chat. We will be really happy to answer all of them.
If there are no more questions now, we can wrap it up. You can always use the chat or email to us, and we will be very happy to answer any questions later on. The QR code on the screen now would lead you to the tool, as well as the link below, and we would also put it in the description and in one of the comments in the chat.
Yeah, then I think that's all for now. We have come to the end of this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you for your attention. We will see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.